This is a reading from the Gospel of Luke, the 9th chapter. As the time drew near when Jesus would be taken up to heaven, he made up his mind and set out on his way to Jerusalem. He sent messengers ahead of him who went into a village in Samaria to get everything ready for him. But the people there would not receive him because it was clear that he was on his way to Jerusalem. When the disciples James and John saw this, they said, "Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to destroy them?" Jesus turned and rebuked them. Then Jesus and his disciples went to another village. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Okay, Emma, here we go. I love this passage because it's one of the things in Scripture that I can so easily picture. The Samaritans hated the Jews, the Jewish people. I hate to say the Jews, but the Jewish people, because there's such a connotation to that, isn't there? What a Jew! Have we not grown up here then? He Jew you. What a Jew! I hate that. So the Jewish people hated the Samaritans, and the Samaritans hated the Jewish people. The Samaritans thought that the holy places of the Lord were in Samaria, not in Jerusalem. And so the Jewish people would walk around Samaria and not go through it, except Jesus. Because what did Jesus do in Samaria? Who did he talk to? You know this. Who did he talk to? Yes, you can. $200. The woman at the well. Thank you. The woman at the well in Samaria. Sorry, I don't mean to pick that. Next week we'll rehearse. You know I love it. It's the woman at the well. Jesus comes and talks to the woman at the well. In fact, it's really the woman at the well where he makes his first real public statement that I am, in effect, who I am, right? I am. If you believe in me, I will give you living waters that will live and last forever. Meaning that he will give you the Spirit. He will give you God's Spirit. Not water, but God's Spirit. The woman at the well says, "Oh my gosh, I don't have to come here at noon in the heat anymore and get water. I can get water all the time from Jesus." No, that's not what he did. No. She didn't get it. So it's not a surprise that Jesus is going to Jerusalem, and the Gospel will tell us that he has made, in effect, the choice to go to Jerusalem. The next 10 chapters of Luke will talk about Jesus on his way to Jerusalem. Jesus knows what's coming up. He's trying to prepare the disciples. We've talked about this before. Get ready. This is what's going to happen. Right? I'm going to be rejected. I'm going to be tortured. I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to die. I'm going to rise again. They just don't understand it. But he talks about it. On the way to Jerusalem. It's not a coincidence. He's going there deliberately because he knows that's where God's calling him to be. It's not a coincidence. So he goes over, and on the way, he goes through Samaria. And he sends the people, remember I think we talked about this, when Jesus is going someplace, he sends people ahead to tell the people that he's on the way, and they kind of gather up all the religious leaders and everything, so that they're there. Remember they did that, and the religious leaders, this may have been Bible study, but the religious leaders all came together. In fact, I'm sure it's Bible study. And Simon, the religious leader, the Pharisee, did honor Jesus by washing his feet or putting oil on his hair. You all were in Bible study. Where's my Bible study people? Remember this? Yes. 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 And so Jesus was shamed. They shamed Jesus, which is what they were trying to do. They shamed Jesus. And the woman with the alabaster jar comes and washes his feet, who is a lady of questionable morality, right? She comes and washes his feet because she wants to save Jesus from the shame. She steps into shame to save Jesus from the shame. So we're in Samaria, and the disciples go ahead, and lo and behold, no one receives them. They get kicked out. See you later, sucker. We don't want any. No, not today. And James and John become irate. Now, I would have become irate. Right? Right? I go to the farmer. Thank you, Diane. It takes a Catholic to understand it. I love you. I'm in Atlanta. I'm standing at the farmer's market. I'm waving to everybody. 50% don't wave back. What do you mean 50%? Least we can do is wave, right? So they come out of the thing and they're all upset. They say, what do you want us to do, Lord? What do you want us to do? Let us call to heaven and let us rain fire down and let us destroy this town. Isn't that a human feeling? I mean, seriously, isn't that something that we... Look no further than road rage. I never get angry on the road, do I, Lynn? You! Lindsay was 2. We were at dinner one night, and we're sitting there. Lindsay's just barely able to talk. She can barely get a word out. And Lindsay says, Daddy, you asshole. And I thought, what? Daddy, you asshole. And I finally figured out she's saying, Daddy, you asshole. And I'm thinking, what? Where did she learn that? And why is she saying it to me? And 2 or 3 days later, I'm driving down the road with Lynn and everybody. Somebody cuts me off and they yell at the window, you asshole! And then Lynn goes, that's where she got it from! Where do you think she learned it from? Road rage! So these people are road raging. They're all upset. What should we do? What should we do? And Jesus has already answered this, because it's not the first time that they've been rejected. What did Jesus say already? Come out of the town. Yes? Yes! Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I'll give you your $5 later. Yes! Yes! Dust the dust off of your shoes and keep on walking. Why? What do they not get if they did not receive Jesus? What's the consequence? What did they not get? Yes, the miracles. They didn't. You're a hard crowd this morning. The miracles. They did not get Jesus' blessing on the miracles. Shake the dust off, leave them alone, we will go somewhere else. In sales we used to say, some will, some won't, who's next? You can't get upset about those that won't, you just keep going. Some will, some won't, who's next? And that's what Jesus is saying. Some will, some won't, who's next? Get going. We got more important things to worry about right now than this little village in Samaria. Because we are on the way to Jerusalem. We are on the way to crucifixion. We are on the way to resurrection. Right? What can be more important than resurrection? Because what do we gain through resurrection? What do we gain through Jesus' resurrection? You know this. Salvation. Thank you. Yes, we gain salvation. So what can be more important than following along with God and God's plan and going to Jerusalem and experiencing death and resurrection? Nothing can be more important. And on they go. On they go. So now we got to go to backwards. We got to go between 700 and 800 years before Christ, BC. Last week we talked about Elijah, and we said that Elijah ended up going to Mount Carmel. He ended up in a cave. He was waiting on the Lord. A windstorm, big went by, he didn't hear God. A fire went by, he didn't hear God. An earthquake happened, he didn't hear God. When did he hear God? In the silence after the storm. He heard God in the silence after the storm had passed. When we listen for God, when do we listen? In the silence. At 4:30 in the morning, when Lynn is snoring next, oh, just kidding, Speed. When Lynn is snoring next to me, and it's relatively quiet, when do I hear God? When did I hear God say, call it the down under? I heard it in a voice, call it the down under. Okay, God. When do we hear God? But now it's time for Elijah to turn the mantle over to somebody else. He's already met Elisha. He's already found him plowing a field. He's pulled him away from his work. He's given him his cloak. Elisha has begun to follow Elijah. Man, I can't keep those straight. Elisha has begun to follow Elijah on the road. And now it's time for him to go. And Elijah keeps saying, no, you wait here. And Elisha keeps saying, no, I'm going with you. Who does that remind you of? No, you return to your family and go home, and I will continue on without you. No, you will not. I will go with, who is that that said? Ruth. That's Ruth right down to the wire. Right, Ruth. No, I will not leave you. I am not going back to my family. Where you go, I will go. Right? That is Ruth. And so he says the same thing. And then it happens. They cross the river. This is very Moses, by the way. He puts the cloak down on the river, and the river parts. 100% Moses, right? Right out of Cecil B. DeMille's. Okay, here it is. Oh, look at that. I saw that when I was little. They had that at Disney World. You could see that. You could really see that. Look at this. It's party. I was younger than Jane. Look at this. Wow. A chariot comes down out of the sky, pulled by horses of fire. What an image. Pulled by horses of fire. Now, it's very possible that that could be the vision of Elisha. It could be his vision that he sees that. And he looks up and he says, where is the God of Elijah? And then he picks up the cloak that's fallen off of Elijah. He hits the water twice. The first time nothing happens, and he says, where is the God? And then he hits it again, and it opens up, and he goes across. There's 50 prophets on the other side. They see him come across. The water closes back up again, and they say, truly, this man has the power of Elijah. A wonderful piece of Jewish history. Wonderful. I love the history in the Bible. Great. But so what? So what? What's the point for us? Right? Now, you know I got the answer. I wouldn't ask the question. I think the point is that he looked up and he said, where is the God of Elijah? Where is God? The question is, have you ever looked up and said, where is God? If I had a son with a hole in his heart, I would have looked up and I would have said, where is God? Where is God? If I had twin 1-pound boys, I'd be looking up and I would be saying, where is God? Where is God? You see, I think that at various points of our lives, we all look up and say, where is God? Certainly the Israelites in exile in Babylonia for 50 years looked up and said, where is God? Why have you deserted us? And then Syria comes along. The king frees them and they go back to Jerusalem. But I think the critical question here is, where is God? And I think it's a critical question because I think it's a question that we all ask from time to time. And it's okay. It's okay to ask it. I ask it. It's okay to ask it. Where are you, God? Where are you in this? Right? We don't have some magic powers like Elijah or Alyssa or Moses. Right? We're just regular run-of-the-mill Christians who live in Atlanta. That's it. So every once in a while, we got to stop and we got to say, where is God? And it's okay. It's okay. God's shoulders are that broad that we can ask that question. His shoulders are so broad that at various times, I myself am further away than I am closer. Right? At various times, I'm questioning. I'm a pastor, I'm questioning. Where are you? I'm standing here, I'm hot on Saturday morning, I'm waving at people at the farmer's market. Where are you? What, are you sleeping? Come on. It's okay. Because God's shoulders are that big. God is that big. That's the importance of our faith. The importance of our faith is to realize that God is big enough that no matter what is going on in our lives, no matter where we are, no matter what, we can go to God at any point and say, where are you? We need your help. Right? And we can do that. Why? Why can we do that? Why are we not afraid to approach Jesus? To approach God? Why are we not afraid?
We're His children.
Yes, and because who died?
Because
Jesus died, right? Thank you. Thank you. Because Jesus died. Because Jesus died for us, we don't have to be afraid to approach God. Remember how I told you I taught the little kids at the other church to pray? 2 years old, 3 years old. I didn't teach them the Lord's Prayer. They're not going to understand that. I taught them to throw up their arms and say, hey God, it's me, Charlie. Hey God, it's me, Jordy. I'm here. Here's what I want to say. We approach God anytime we want. Even if it's with a question. Even if it's to say, where are you right now in my life? You can rest assured that that lady that's grieving for her son all by herself is looking up and saying, God, where are you right now in my life? You can rest assured. And God is there. Because God understands. Right? God is there. Yeah. What an amazing, amazing, amazing God. I say this all the time, doing it. What an amazing God we have. A God that is so big and so broad and so powerful that even when we can't find Him, even when we are at our wit's end, even when we are in our darkest hours and we look up and we say, God, where are you, God? It's okay. Because God is there. God is there for each and every one of us. And it's okay. If I had to stand on the corner in Atlanta underneath my tent with a Bible, that is the one message that I would say over and over and over again. It's okay. No matter what you think, God is there. And if you have to look up and say, where are you, God? You look up and say, where are you, God? Because it's okay. God is there. The power of the Holy Spirit is there. What an amazing God we have. Amen. Our song is number 477. Pass it and 477.
Glory.
have found on God you can depend. You could not have picked a more appropriate song for the sermon this morning. Go forth wearing the mantle given by our God. Part the waters of injustice. Make way for the compassion to be offered to all that God loves. Amen.